First and foremost, before we get started, I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekah Kwadash, and double honors to those great millstone, while unto his truth, and also to those elect that is scattered abroad. I like to say, Shalom. Come back here today with another great, powerful lesson to the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And the type D lesson is Endtime news, tension rising. So I like to say shalom to all our listeners and learners. Hope this will help you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. So before we start today's lesson, I have a few news articles, but we'll get this one here first by Reuters. And it reads as Spain, Portugal switch back on. Seek answers after biggest ever blackout. It says here, Madrid, April the 29th, Reuters says Spain and Portugal switch their power back on after the worst blackout in their history. Said though authorities offered little explanation for what had caused it or how they would prevent it happening again. Said traffic lights were back on. Train and metro service slowly returned and school reopened. Commuters battled with delays to get back to work after an outage that had left people stranded in lifts and cut off from power from phone contact. Said with their family, Salakia. Let's see what else we got here. Let's get a little bit more of it. It says the sudden outage had seen the equivalent of 60% of demand in Spain dropped in 5 seconds around midday on Monday. So while the Spanish grid operator REE on Tuesday ruled out a cyber attack as the cause of Spain's much jumping around. So like Spain's high court said it would investigate whether the country energy infrastructure had suffered a terrorist strike, while Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez said his government had not ruled out any hypotheses. But one thing about it that we already knowing that they had a blackout. I think it was out of Cuba or Puerto Rico. It was a couple of months ago. Had a blackout over there. Also had another one in South America. I think it was around Chile, the Argentina area. But we already know that these things gonna constantly pick up. It's already said that they ruled out that it, and also it was rumors that it said it was a cyber attack, but they said they ruled that out. Also was saying that it could be a possibility, could be a terrorist attack. But we're not ignorant of Satan's device. We already knowing that people was going on with their daily lives. They're going on with the busybody of the city. A lot of people was at work. Some people was going to work on these transit system, this train, their metros that all of a sudden shut down, and people couldn't they couldn't use their phone, their internet was out. Also, they couldn't use their ATM. They had to have cash. So we already know where this is going. Because this had been a test run. We already know that they're putting another system into place. This new global digital society that's going to be dealing with blockchain technology. So we already know that all these things are right here, right before our eyes. Could have been a test run, but we already know that these are precursors. What is getting ready to come to what? America, aka Babylon the Great. We know that these things are fast approaching. A lot of people right here, they still right now thinking everything is good because it's sunshine today, but the storm is coming very soon. That's what we're constantly warning you about. So these people got hit with a big rolling blackout, cyber attacks, EMP attack at any given time. A lot of people were relaxing in their lead in thy security. And all of a sudden, these things came upon them. That's why the men of the Lord, we're constantly sighing and crying left and right, warning you of all these impending dangers that's constantly happening left and right. So now let's get this next report here. I think this one here is about what happened in Pakistan. They fighting over this. What happened with these gunmen gunned down? I think it was 26 people. Let's get a little of this report by the same news article here. Let's get to one here by Reuters once again. It said Pakistan says intelligence suggests India military action likely soon. says here. It says here in Espinal Spunkar. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. It says Palestine said on Wednesday, said it was credible and said it has credible intelligence that India intends to launch military action soon as tensions between the nuclear-armed neighbors escalate following a deadly attack on tourists say in India, Kashmir. So we know right here that that a lot of things transpired from this tourist attack. And they were blaming this on Pakistan. And also they were saying that it was rumors that they are going to cut their water supply off, that the system that India is using. But now, they're saying that if they do that, they're threatening to attack their neighboring country, which in fact is India, so we're seeing that tensions are rising. Also, we know that they have nuclear capabilities, and also it was already rumors that they're saying that America, it's already reports that America saying they are not going to get involved, but we already know that the least of the flock should draw them out. So that's what we keeping our eyes upon this also, a lot of this conflict. Now they get ready to go to war over this water cause in retaliation of what happened to these 26 people that, was unalive. So these things are constantly picking up left and right. So let's get a quick preset. A lot of people going to get caught up in that even net. So you seeing what happened, what happened over there in, in, this what happened in, Spain and Portugal, and also over here in Pakistan and India. These things are happening at a fast pace. All of a sudden, the people is, going just like a normal day. That's how things will come upon us. That's why the Lord said He will come like a thief in the night when you're not watching. When you're unaware, when you're, not considering. Thinking that everything is okay, but it's not. It's nothing going back to saying. Let's go into Ecclesiastes chapter 9. And let's get this one at verse 1. A lot of people going to get caught up in this even net because it suddenly shall fall upon you. What happened with those people? So we're seeing an increased number of blackouts. All of a sudden, people don't have any ounce of why did this happen? Why did it happen? It already is rumors that it will be coming into America pretty soon. Terrorist attack, cyber attack, EMP attack, nuclear attacks. These things are right before us. That's what we constantly telling you left and right. It is here, it is at the door. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 12 said, For man also knoweth not his time as the fishes that are taken in an even net. And as the birds that are caught in the snare, so are the sons of men snared or trapped in evil time when it falleth suddenly upon them. So that evil time is right now. We're seeing that tensions is constantly rising. These nations are constantly going against one another. We already know what's happening right here in Babylon the Great. That a lot of these people are bucking up against these tariffs, so these taxes, so it's a lot of tension, a lot of people right now are uprising right now. So we're seeing that the stage is being set for what? Order out of chaos. Let's read this once again. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 12 says, For man also knoweth not his time as the fishes that are taken in an even net, and as the birds that are caught in the snares, so that the sons of men snared in a evil time when it falleth suddenly upon them. So that's exactly what's happening. That's what we're constantly seeing left and right. These things are constantly falling upon a lot of peoples around the world globally, unaware, not paying attention, just pretty much getting rocked back to sleep from the left hand side. Also, a lot of our people are distracted. And these things are very distracted, watching other things, what something that, that is not gonna mean them a hill of bean, watching about this Shannon Sharp bull junk. You know what I'm saying? What's the other one? These sports and different things like that. So the bread and circuit is pretty much is over. You know, all hell is getting ready to break loose. A lot of people gonna get caught up in this evil net when it falls suddenly upon them. That's what the men of the Lord, they're constantly warning you about these things. Watch, pray, and have a sober mind, a stable mind. And the only way you will have that sober mind, a stable mind, you know, in times of trouble, this wisdom and knowledge, this understanding, this gospel, it shall sustain you in times of trouble. So now, let's go here. Let's get this one here. You know, there's a lot of bucking up that's going on. These ICE, I think that they're deporting, I think it's legal immigrants. We're gonna open it up. You know, they was already legal, you know, supposed to be legal citizens, but now they saying that they are deporting them. You know, it does not matter. We already know right now when you go to Revelation chapter 12 and 12, the devil's getting ready to come down with great wrath. So this right here, it said Trump border czar ICE will absolutely deport legal immigrants. So we already know where this is going. So we already know they're going to target eventually people of colors. We already know it already started with the northern kingdom. We know that it's coming to the southern kingdom. All hell is getting ready to break loose. It's called what? Jacob's trouble. So it says here, President Donald Trump border Kazar Azar declared Monday that immigrants living legally in the U.S. can absolutely be kicked out of the country, even if they have green cards. So we see it right there. It does not matter. So we already know that this devil is getting ready to roll. You know, he's getting ready to do his thing for the last time. You know, it said Tom Homan said has asked whether Mahan Khalai, who lead pro-Palestine protests at Columbia University, said and was arrested by Immigration and Custom Enforcement or ICE on Saturday night, said can be deported even though he holds a green card and resides in the country legally. So, you know, we're going to constantly see a lot of these things happen. You know, they're going to be like what sparing none. When it's, you know, what we're seeing is they're slowly setting up a police state, you know, where they're going to have you under total surveillance, you know what I'm saying? Total control, you know, constantly tracking and tagging, also placing you in these facilities, you know, taking you to talking about any of these prisons in the surrounding countries. So a lot of these things are constantly happening. You know, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. So just a little of that report. Also was another report I had. I don't think I'm gonna be able to find it. It was about that he's had these young. He was getting ready to deport a young mother, and I think she had some children. She had to take her children with them, which in fact was legal. So it's a lot of rigmarole is constantly going on. You know, we constantly seeing these things left and right, man. And also it's another one here about these Amazon. I think it's Amazon, these tabs. You know, so one was, if I can find it, I don't know if I can pull it up, but there's a lot of things is going on with Amazon right now. I think this is it right here. It's talking about how, you know, it's an Amazon. It's an idea to display tabs costs to anger Trump in White House. But I think that the owner or the CEO Amazon, he changed his mind. But we're not going. I got a video to bring it out a little bit more. It said Amazon announces that it will not display U.S. tabs costs on product listing after pushback from the Trump administration. President Donald Trump personally called the company's founder Jeff Bezos on Tuesday to express concern about these plans. A source told NBC News in the hours after the call, Amazon publicly downplayed the scrapped joint plans entirely. You know, he's saying that they was in retaliation to these tariffs, they was gonna display them on they were gonna give you the regular price of what originally would cost. Then they will the tab that they was trying to like make to show you that, you know, that this is not on us. You know, this is what DJ Donald Trump is doing, but all of a sudden, you know, he decided not to do this. So we're seeing that this nation is constantly being divided. We're seeing right now it's a lot of tension. It's constantly rising. We already know that if a nation is divided, it cannot stand. So we know that we're here. Amazon ideal to display tabs, costs, angers Trump White House. So I got a little video to bring it out with a little more edification. So just the things that I'm constantly seeing. We seeing that the vibrations change. We seeing that we're in that transition of power. We seeing that the mental law. We constantly signing the crowd, warning you all these things are constantly happening around the world, just like a domino effect. Even though that will sound like a broken record, but these are the time that we're living in. So now let's go ahead and get the rest of these videos. And after the video, we'll start the lesson. And I hope that you will get edified.
In Portugal, you're talking about a population of 50 million people combined. This is massive. Nothing is working. The trains are not working. The underground metro system is not working. People were seen walking out of a dark tunnel with their flashlights on their phones. The Madrid Open tennis tournament as well had to be suspended. Players had to walk off the court mid-match because the scoreboards, the cameras as well, were everything shut down. In Spain, power is starting to come back in certain parts of the region, but millions remain without power at the moment.
For those that don't understand what's going on in the whole India-Pakistan situation, yeah, they've had border disputes for decades and whatnot. This is a war over water. This war is over water, the Indus River, which flows between India and Pakistan, but it goes through India to get to Pakistan, and India is trying to shut it down. And Pakistan depends on it because they depend on it for 80% of their agriculture. So if India shuts it down, they're basically starving Pakistan. And Pakistan have said if India tries to do this, that's a declaration of war. They're going to go to war. Basically, this is about to be the first ever modern war we've ever had over water. We've had it over everything, oil, gold, whatnot. This is going to be the first time in human history, in modern times, that we are going to go to war over water.
So the White House must scare the shit out of Jeff Bezos, because Jeff Bezos says he's no longer showing us the price of the tariffs on each item on the website anymore. This morning, the Amazon company stated they were going to put the cost of the tariffs on their website next to their prices so people could see how the prices are being impacted by the tariffs. Well, I guess the White House decided they were going to go ahead and give Jeff a call, and now he's not doing that. On top of that, UPS has just stated that they are laying off 20,000 workers due to a decrease in Amazon packages. So not only are we going to be in the dark about how much these tariffs are impacting the price of our goods, it's looking like people are going to be losing their jobs left and right. Wondering how everyone feels about that. How do you feel about the fact that the White House can call up an owner of a major retailer and tell them that they can't do something for the consumers? Sounds like they're in control, not the people that are paying the bills. If you shop with Amazon, it's looking like you're not in charge. They don't care about you more than they care about Trump.
So let's just get this one right here.
Man, this shit just keep getting worse. We got Pakistan's defense minister saying that India is definitely going to invade and that they will use nuclear weapons as a last resort. Literally saying if they feel like their security is threatened, they will start to use nuclear weapons. So we already got a confirmation that one country is already in the ready to use nuclear weapons. And if Pakistan's ready to use them, then I'm going to guess India is willing to use them as well. I mean, yesterday they literally threatened to hit India with 130 nukes if they cut off the water or if they decide to go to war with Pakistan. So shows that those nukes are definitely on the table since they keep getting flexed. We have U.S. Senator John Kennedy making the biggest threat that I've heard towards Russia this year by saying that Putin must understand that the United States is ready to turn him and Russia into fish food. He also told Trump that now is the time to start handling Russia and start being more aggressive on them. We have China saying that they're going to support Pakistan, but also vowing restraint in all the moves against Pakistan. And vice versa, the United States saying that they rock with India, but vowing restraint in their moves against Pakistan. We have Israel once again threatening to attack Iran's nuclear facilities. As Trump is saying that a deal is near, Iran is saying that Israel is trying to sabotage their deal with the United States. We which I'm not too sure they're going to end up coming up with because the last talks, they had big differences. Let's admit it, the world's going to shit. More news next.
We seeing right now, tension is constantly what? Rising. That's why I named today's lesson, tensions is rising. So we'll start here first in Matthew chapter 12 and verse 25. So we already knowing that, things are going to constantly get worse and worse. We seeing right now that, the nation is divided. We seeing that the nation are rising against one another, all sorts of uncertainties. We seeing that, it's a dark forecast ahead. Also we know we're coming upon this digital infrastructure, this new digital system that they are constantly putting in place right before your eyes. So now to start here, Matthew chapter 12 and verse 25, it said, and Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. So exactly what we're seeing, these things are constantly rising up, uproars of the people, civil unrest, civil war, rumors of civil war, sedition. A lot of things are coming upon us at a fast, late, perilous time. Let's read in the NLT, said Yahweh knew their thoughts and replied, any kingdom divided by civil war is doomed. Say a town or family are splendid by feuding will fall apart. So that's what we exactly seeing. We're seeing what America is constantly falling apart left and right, and it will never ever get back up again. Verse 26, and if Satan casts out Satan, say he is divided against himself. Say how shall then his kingdom stand? So one thing about it, we know the physical counterpart of Satan that do the bidding of Satan in flesh form, in the fleshly form is what is the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of. So we know that we're very close, that all hell is getting ready to break loose. We know that these things are coming upon us at a fast pace. A lot of people gonna get caught up. That's what happened with these rolling blackouts. These things are constantly happening left and right. We constantly warning you about these things. So it says here, once again, it says, in the NLT, it says, Matthew chapter 12 and verse 26 in the NLT, saying, and if Satan is casting out Satan, say he is divided and fighting against himself, say his own kingdom will not survive. So exactly what, and once again, the physical counterpart of Satan is what the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks. And also we seeing right now a lot of people are bucking up against these tariffs. A lot of these CEOs are constantly going to DJ Donald Trump, coming to him about the concern, to cause a disruption and a lot of things, disruption, in the financial aspects of things, the stock market, it's saying that also retail sales, all sorts of things that's happening, these disruption in the supply chain line, so a lot of things is constantly happening left and right. So these things are constantly picking up. Things are constantly looking worse and worse, so Satan is constantly against Satan, what I'm saying? So we'll get this one right quick, so, you're seeing that right now, this place is very divided. It could fall apart at any given time. Civil war, civil unrest, what I'm saying? One thing about evil time that we've never seen before, Jacob's trouble. Let's go here to Isaiah chapter 19. Isaiah chapter 19, the Lord is going to set America against America. Let's get this right quick. Just random scriptures. Let's start here. Verse 2. It said, and I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptian, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. So that's exactly what we get ready to see in America against America. Civil war, civil unrest, it's a lawless time, sedition, it's all sorts of anarchy. A lot of things are coming left and right. Also, we already know they get ready to bring forth this new digital society, whereby total control under total surveillance. A lot of things are coming. That grain of rice. So this is going to bring forth a lot of chaos, a lot of death and destruction. So we know that we're very close to these times. So the Lord is constantly setting that variance, setting that division, it's at left and right. So we constantly seeing that. We're going to constantly see it till things reach its boiling point. So we knowing that America will be invaded. America will be totally destroyed with these IBCM missiles. Things it's about to get real. That's what we're constantly warning you about, left and right. There will be no inhabitant left here. So now let's go here to 1 John. Let's go back to the New Testament. Let's go into 1 John. We're seeing that this world, this earth age is slowly fading away. Let's go here to 1 John chapter 2, and we'll start up at verse 15. One moment. It says here, 1 John chapter 2 and verse 15 said, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. Say, if any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. So one thing about it, we got a lot of people, are very worldly. A lot of people are very carnally minded. We already know that this world will lead to death. You know what I'm saying? We already know being carnally minded. We do thy will, spirit, just constantly, doing things that is displeasing to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua. This place right here is constantly fading out. This earth age is constantly ending. The Lord is getting ready to bring forth a new earth age, that dwells in a revised and replenished earth. The Lord is getting ready to make all things new again. Say, hey man, we're very close. So let's read this once again. It says, 1 John chapter 2 and verse 15 said, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. So a lot of people, they don't, it's no light in them. You know what I'm saying? It's no, we constantly seeing it left and right. A lot of people walking in the congregation of the dead. You know what I'm saying? We seeing it left and right, man. It's this gospel be hid because there's no light in them. Hey man, we're here, man. To see us here. Verse 16 said, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but of the world. So, a lot of people, like when you see in that first video, the blackouts, a lot of people, they depend on their technologies, these luxuries, these dainties, that they're constantly used to every day, going back and forth on these trains, the transit system. A lot of people, they're relaxing their leaves, these restaurants, these coffee cafe place where they go get their favorite beverage and food or whatever, like that. All of a sudden the power was shut down. You know what I'm saying? So there was inconvenience. But one thing about it, because they are lovers of this world, they trust in all this technology. They trust in what right before them. They are not spiritually minded. They're carnally minded. Also, they are worldly minded. It's only going to lead to death and destruction. Put it like that. Let's go here. And a lot of people are very prideful. And it says in verse 17, it said, and the world, and the world passes away. First John chapter 2 and verse 17, Salaki. He said, and the world passes away, and the love thereof, but he that doeth the will of the Almighty abideth forever. So that's where we at right now. So, wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of time. A lot of things that constantly happen. This earth age is passing away. Esau is the end of this earth age, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. So everything that we see, left and right, these things that's going on around the world is slowly, it's constantly fading away. We're seeing that America is on the decline. We're seeing that these other nations are rising against nations. We're seeing right here in our own backyard rumors of civil war, civil unrest. You know what I'm saying? Also, the invasion of America. A lot of things are coming upon us. These new alliances. A lot of things are happening. So let's go to our last and final script. We'll close out here in Ecclesiastes. Let's close out in Ecclesiastes. It's time to seek the Lord because these things are coming to us at a fast pace. A lot of people going to get caught up in that even net. You know what I'm saying? These end time prophecies are speaking loud and clear. Let's close out here. Ecclesiastes chapter 32. Ecclesiastes chapter 32. And we'll close out at verse, I think it's verse 14, what I'm looking for. Ecclesiastes chapter 32 and verse 14 says, whoso fears the Lord will receive his discipline, and they that seek him early shall find favor. So that's exactly, who fear the Lord, the elect. And one thing about who is seeking the Lord early, which in fact is the elect, the true believers of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua. We already know that the world, what I'm saying, right now, they do not fear the Lord. And one thing about it, they're not even seeking the Lord. A lot of things are getting ready to happen. A lot of great persecution, great tribulation A lot of things are coming down the pipeline. And once again, the Lord, what's the second coming of our Lord and Savior and our great deliverer, which in fact is Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. He's getting ready to return. That's what we're longing for each and every day. We're ready for everything to be over with. We're ready for this nightmare to end. And a lot of our people, they're comfortable here. They think everything is fine. All this wickedness and all this vex conversation that's going on with the men of the Lord. We are worn the hell out, but we're going to constantly trust and believe in Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. One thing about it, we're going to keep striving. We're going to keep enduring, through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. Once again, let's read it once again. Ecclesiasticus, Sirach chapter 32 and verse 14. Whoso fears the Lord will receive his discipline, and they that seek him early shall find favor. So seek the Lord early while he can be found. So the title of today's lesson, once again, is End Time News, Tension Rising. So let's give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekah Kwadash, Kwam Yasharala, Shalom, Shalom.